Here, folks, fly fishing, and today we're going to do just one more of that down bead, downhead caddis. This one is going to imitate the net building Hydopsychidae species that has a more of a cream appearance, and we're going to use a bit of an unusual material for the ribbing. So let's get started looking at the materials. Our hook is going to be a size 16 and a 200R. We're going to use a tungsten gold bead. Our thread is going to be the size 14/aught yellow, or primrose, I guess you would call it, thread. Now this is the unusual stuff. This is mono, 10-pound mono. I've got some 8-pound here as well, which is colored. You can use mono for ribbing. I don't see it done very often, and it's something that's a little bit of a surprise to me is why it wouldn't be done, but it works just fine. Now our legs are going to be done with this tan caddis, and this is rabbit, so it'll get darker when it gets wet. And now we're going to be using this cream ultrafine dubbing. It's an artificial dubbing, or synthetic I should say, so it won't change color when it gets wet, and we'll use that for the body. So let's get started. Bring your thread all the way around. Now we're going to dub our legs. Now the trick is here, this will depend a lot on the size of the hole in the bead you're using. Unfortunately, the bead I'm using here, the only gold tungsten I've got now, has a rather large hole. So I really have to build this up to avoid it falling over this dubbing ball that I'm putting in here. So we're going to really wrap this in here and make a good chunk. So we're not going to have that bead slip over it. Okay, we'll put some half hitches and make sure you put them behind the bead, not in front of it. Yeah, cut off your thread, push your bead back, and here's your opportunity to really jam it in there. Now we'll put our thread on the front. Okay, now for our mono. Now we're just going to build up a bit of a taper here. And this is size 14/aught thread, so of course it takes a few winds to do this. Okay, now for a cream dubbing. Okay, let's start with our mono rib. Start with a turn at the back. Now how closely you want to space this, I'll leave this up to you. I'm going to space this fairly closely. There we go. Okay, now we whip finish. And finally we'll come in with our toothbrush underneath. You could also use your bodkin if you want. Just pick out some dubbing in there and pick out some legs in your rabbit at the front. Okay, now you have a reasonably good facsimile of a Hydopsychidae net spinner larva, and it will swim head down under an indicator, and it will look natural in the water, look like it's trying to reattach after it's lost its footing in its case. So give it a try. It's a Hydopsychidae net spinner caddis. Cheers.